'79, I bought my house. And it was interesting, when the gentleman was speaking at the beginning, he said, we're known for being a party town. Well, absolutely, you sure were, because right across the street, there was some joint called Backstage, and that was the main attraction. Well, sort of, there was no state tax either. Just briefly, if you haven't read the book, here's how it actually went down. After our first hit record, we realized that the people that we were working with were rather nefarious individuals, and we didn't want to continue our relationship with these guys. They were pretty tough guys. So we stood our ground and said, well, we don't want to accept any money, even though we had a #1 record. So we didn't want to acknowledge the contract. And as I said, we were tough guys. So, but we kept working because we were just those kind of people. And the second year, we wound up meeting Sister Sledge and writing We Are Family. So what wound up happening was our first big royalty check was somewhere around $8 million. So we went from like living on the subway and busking to getting $8 million and having to split that. And we're like, now what do we do? And my business manager said, well, the last thing you want to do is pay New York State tax on $8 million. Because as young black men, they're going to think you're drug dealers or something. And they're going to be looking for that money every year. So they said, you need to move to Wilmington, Delaware. I said, I'd rather pay double the tax than move to Wilmington, Delaware. But I had friends who lived in Westport, and I used to come up and visit them all the time. And when I would come here, we'd go to these clubs, like Backstage, and the other joint, I forget, on the Post Road, I forgot it was, they said it was the first gay club on the Eastern Seaboard. And it was like all these places we go hang out, and they were really, really fun. I was like, man, the suburbs are amazing. And I don't have to pay state tax. It's incredible. So the first thing I did when I got my half of the $8 million is I bought a speedboat. So I'm living in Manhattan with a speedboat. Most people in those days didn't have cars in New York City, but I had a cigarette ocean racer. And so I used to dock it on the east side, and one day I got this really light bulb moment. And so I was looking for this house, not in Wilmington, Delaware, but somewhere where I didn't have to pay state tax. And I said, well, boy, if I can get a house on the water and not have to pay state tax, it'd be fantastic. And I came to Westport and I looked around, and this is the truth. The very first house I looked at, I bought. Because I didn't really care about the house. I just looked outside and I had a sailboat. And so my financial people were trying to talk to the guy and get the price down. I was just looking at the back window going, what's the depth of the keel on that boat? And he said, well, I said, I'll take the house. Anyway, so this was a long time ago, and I loved it here. When I moved here, Donna Summer lived here, Ashton and Simpson lived here. This was such an artistic town, and I felt at home right away, especially because my next door neighbors, they came and knocked on my door the first day. And by now, not only I had the speedboat, but I also had a Maserati Bora along with a couple of Porsches. And my neighbor came over. Actually, the kids came over and said, my dad was saying really bad stuff about you. And I said, really? Well, why? He said, well, because you moved into the neighborhood and your cars and boats are really loud. but he always wanted to drive a Maserati. So I said, well, tell your dad to come over, he can drive mine.